It's hard to believe it's almost been 13 years since the last James Bond 007 game. So in this video, I want to talk about the new upcoming game 007 First Light and everything we know about it. So let's jump right into it. Now, this is a game 007 First Light that's going to be coming out in 2026, developed by IO Interactive. And I think the best place to start is, how did this game even come about? So the story goes that IO Interactive actually pitched this game to the IP owner of James Bond as a new entry, a new beginning for the James Bond 007 franchise. The last game, the prior game in 2012, 007 Legends, was not a great game, was a flop. And after that game was released, Activision lost their license to produce James Bond games, and Bond was shelved until recently. So as the story goes, while IO Interactive was working on Hitman 3 and wrapping it up, they went and they pitched this idea for a new James Bond game. And what allegedly sold over the IP owner was that they wanted to take Bond as a game in a different direction. So rather than the Bond games that we all know, where it's strictly focused on gun combat, they wanted to introduce more stealth mechanics, more spy mechanics, more gadgets, and take Bond in a brand new direction. And they leveraged Hitman, their most famous game series, as a way to sell this new James Bond idea. So they basically went and they said, hey, look what we're doing with Hitman. It's more stealth focused. It's not all about gun combat. We want to take some of those ideas. We want to make a new James Bond game. And not only that, we want to do something completely new, something away from the novels. And it turns out that the IP holder of James Bond really liked that idea. So that's how this game came about. And what is the story of the new 007 First Light game? Well, it's completely original, and this is something that I'm actually very happy about. So they're basically doing the origin story of James Bond. Now, origin stories in gaming is not that original of an idea. We see that with games like Batman and Spider-Man, but we've never really seen the origin story of James Bond. And there's a lot of different directions they can go here, a lot of potential, and I'm really happy to see them step out and do something different here, do something new, and something fresh. So the story goes that we're going to learn how James Bond enters the MI6 and becomes 007. So essentially, from my understanding, we're going to be going on James Bond's first missions, him proving himself, him getting his quote unquote license to kill. So this is a great idea, very unique, and I'm really happy with the direction this story is going. And to me, I think they're setting this up so that there can be a lot more Bond games coming in the future if, and this is a big if they pull this game off the right way. And I think they might just do it. I'm being hopeful here. I really like Bond games. I want to see this game succeed. And I think they might just have this one in the bag. We've seen other IPs recently come out and do very well, like Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones had a ton of potential, and they were able to knock that game out of the park. James Bond, let's be real, it has just as much potential, if not more, and there already has been great Bond games. We all know about GoldenEye. So I think now's the time we get that resurgence in James Bond. We see Bond come back. We see Bond come back better than ever, and we start heading in a new direction. And I'm really excited for this. And one of the things IO Interactive has said is that they want to take Bond, they want this Bond game to be able to go in different directions. So you can do combat to get through missions, you can do stealth, you can use gadgets. And from my understanding, this is going to be a game where there'll be multiple paths to solve a challenge, right? If you want to use combat, you can do that. If you want to use stealth, you can do that. And I mean, that's a great thing. That's what we want to see out of a spy game, right? Bond isn't all about shooting guns. He is an agent. Sometimes you need to be stealthy. And I think that's a great thing. And on top of that, they're really making this more of a Bond game. It looks almost like a Bond movie, right? From the footage we've seen. You're in the world, You're driving cars, you're navigating the environment. It looks beautiful. It looks like you might be going to different countries. So they're basically taking the idea of a Bond movie and putting it into a game. And again, a lot of potential here. If they can pull this off, this might become one of the best Bond games we've ever seen. Will it surpass GoldenEye? In all honesty, nothing will probably ever surpass GoldenEye, but that doesn't mean we can't have a great Bond game, something that we haven't seen before. Now, I talked a little bit about the last Bond game about 12 years ago, 007 Legends. That wasn't a great game, and it's really sad to see an almost 13-year gap between 007 Bond games because of that poor reception. So it's really important that this Bond game comes out and does well. It doesn't have to do amazing, it doesn't have to be the best game ever, but it has to do well if we want to see IO Interactive continue to come out and make more Bond games. And they've said that they're lining this up to be a series. They want to do multiple games, but it's all going to depend on the success of this game. And I think from what I've seen, they're coming to do something great here, right? They know what they have. They've got Bond. They want to get more IPs, more games under their belt. They don't just want to be doing strictly Hitman all the time. And if they succeed in this, this is going to be a lot of money for them, a lot of opportunity. And I think they're taking it very seriously. And if they take some of those great mechanics from Hitman and put it in this Bond game, it's going to be a great game. Hitman, one of the best stealth games ever, one of the best stealth series ever. So if they can pull some of those mechanics, some of those great mechanics, leverage that, don't make the Bond game just a reskinned Hitman game. And luckily they've come out and said they're not going to do that. They're aware that's not what people want. But we do want to see some of those great stealth mechanics come into the new Bond game. So overall, I'm excited for this game. I think there's a ton of potential here. It's been way too long since we've gotten a Bond game. I like the story. I like the idea of a young Bond, something new, something that's not directly taken from the novels, but something I think that's exciting. We all want to know, where did Bond come from? How did he become an agent? On top of that, they've said that there's going to be a lot of characters that we do know. M, Q, all these great characters are going to be in the game. It's going to be awesome. So I'm excited for this game. And what do you think of the new 007 game, First Light? Are you excited for this? Do you want it to succeed? Are you going to pick it up? Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And that's all. Have a good day.